Okay, we want to welcome everybody back to the Weekend Review, and we're going to take a look at Wednesday. On Wednesday, Martin Folse sat on the desk, and he had State Representative Joe Harrison as his guest with him, and they really talked a lot about the bath salt legislation, and, well, let's just take a look at it.
Let's start off with a major drug bust.
Wednesday morning, some residents in Terrebonne Parish were awakened by an early morning narcotics roundup. From the air and the ground, deputies and agents from various agencies executed several warrants on several locations for suspected narcotic activities.
This morning, we were assisted by several different agencies: State Police, Homeland Police Department, Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, DEA out of New Orleans, Probation and Parole with the state of Louisiana, executing 25 search warrants within the parish, primarily on East Houma and West Houma areas, and attempting to execute 73 arrest warrants that we had on defendants, which were a result of a 24-month investigation. We've had 3 investigators who have worked over the last 24 months, putting a lot of time and effort into covert operations, and this was just a culmination today. We were able to make 38 arrests in reference to the operation today, so in that way it was a success. And then we recovered over approximately 6 ounces of crack cocaine, over a pound of marijuana, 22 weapons were taken off the street, and we accumulated a lot of documentation, a lot of information out of the households that will continue to lead us in other directions.
We also spoke with Major Stewart about the continuing sale of bath salts and potpourri-type drugs despite new laws that took effect this month.
We've been inundated with calls in reference to it because, as you know, July 12th of this year, there were new laws incorporated into Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 that made what we're referring to as bath salts and the potpourri chemicals in those are now illegal. What they have done now is began marketing other synthetic materials that are mimicking Xanax, or as people refer to as Zambars, and they're placing melatonin into the brownies and placing them out there and marketing them in that aspect. The things that you're seeing on the shelves now, they sent to labs. We have the reports. We had one location here in town. The distributor showed up wishing to sell it. They contacted us. We went out there. We've taken some samples. We're going to send it off to see if it meets outside the standards of what is illegal, and we also got their information that they're distributing to people, showing that they've sent it off to labs and it falls outside of the present laws that we have in the state of Louisiana. So we're continuing to battle this, and as soon as we're made aware of a law or an infraction that I can make arrest, we will initiate those arrests.
All right, there you see it, the drug bust in Terrebonne Parish, also the synthetic marijuana and drugs back on the shelves, and Joe Harrison is with me. God, we spent 6 months on it, well, more than 6 months, and you on the desk numerous times. Y'all work hard to get legislation done, passed, and all of a sudden they change something back on the shelves. That's got to tweak you as much as me, doesn't it?
It does, and I think we kind of touched on that when we first spoke about this. You know, the chemical makeup has 148 different combinations that you can utilize to make this particular substance. And we thought we covered most of them, but what they've done is taken a derivative of the synthetic and renamed it. So they're making derivatives of the 148 different chemicals and now putting it back on the shelf. It's exactly what the federal agents, actually was my brother Kevin, who used to be with DEA, told me what they do. They'll come in, hit it hard. When they're stopped for 6 or 8 months, when they made tens of millions of dollars and ruined hundreds of lives, they turn around and change the chemical makeup, come back on the shelf, and it is a constant battle. But the thing is, Martin, and this is what I said earlier, it's a shame that any person who is selling that today is willing to make profit on the backs and misery of other people. Those are the people that should be ashamed of what they're doing.
I don't understand the conscience level. And that's what's bothering me about this whole deal, is that How can someone some of these people that own these stores are playing like they're good Houma citizens or Thibodeau citizens. How can they in their right mind put that on the shelf, sell it, affect children, and act like they're doing nothing wrong? It's a conscious level.
It's a moral thing, and
Right.
it's unfortunate that these people haven't checked their moral compass lately.
Well, we're going to stay on it for sure, and I know you're going to keep us up to speed, but I guess if the laws have to follow the drug dealers, it's going to be difficult to make it stick, but nationally or federally, won't they have to do a blanket thing to cover the whole umbrella of it all?
I think it's going to have to come to that because, as you've said earlier in your coverage of this and really kind of opening the story from the beginning, you were the first news agency in the whole southern region that did this. We were one of the first that challenged this with the laws that we put forth. Mm-hmm. And I guess the rest of the states were seeing how much it was going to cost us to keep changing it until we got it right. Unfortunately, I think it does have to go to the federal level, and that will end up getting our congressional delegation, which we've already had them involved. Jeff Landry is very deeply involved in this. Mm-hmm. This is going to be an issue I'll have to take up with him because I'm sure that he nor I was aware that they were already back on the shelves.
When we return, we're going to continue our discussion with Martin Folse and Joe Harrison, and they'll be talking about a legislative update when we return.